Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Titan Uncensored. Today we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kevin Nasta. How are you doing over there, Mr. Nasta?
Going on, and I guess officially, I guess this would be Goddesses Uncensored,
Goddesses Uncensored's even better.
the
So,
takeover.
listen, what we have to do, what we have to do, right? So, tell us about what your future plans are for the Goddesses rebrand. What you plan to do, and all the talent that you have coming in. Let us know the tea.
Okay, so basically, we're just literally just trying to change the mindset and the philosophy of women's booking when it comes to pro wrestling. It's been way too long for for this to happen. It's been slowly happening in other parts of the country. Mission Pro Wrestling down in Texas. You get Women of Wrestling out in California, and now you'll have the Goddesses of War in the Northeast in New Jersey,
Hell yeah.
where we're concentrating on female, female talent, female in-ring talent, ring announcers, broadcasters, backstage correspondents, podcasters, play-by-play, um, photographers, videographers, video editors, anything that goes through the doors of Goddesses of War will be the result of women, you know, producing and making this product. Myself, yeah, whatever you want to call me, the general manager, whatever. I don't care what people call me. Um, but I never want a on screen character. I always want to be, behind the scenes. Don't want to be involved in being on screen. Even if that means I have to, hire a general manager to go out there and, be my mouthpiece to the fans and to the public. So be it. That'll just be somebody else that we're gonna push out there and promote the hell out of, and
Much respect.
you know that's what we want to do. It's easy to run a wrestling program and turn around and say, hey, we're gonna have two women's matches, and you had literally 3 hours of wrestling and a total of 4 minutes of women's wrestling, and
Yeah.
it's utter garbage, and stuff like that has to change, and we thought it was changing on the national level on TV, but we
Right.
saw that it was a temporary change. It kind of resorted right back to the same crap, and fans, it depends on who you ask. Fans, buy it. Some fans don't buy it. Some fans don't care. Some fans really care. But I will say that the Northeast fans are very passionate when it comes to professional wrestling, and they're probably some of the most passionate fans when it comes to female wrestling. Whether it's creepy or otherwise at times. Their money is still green, and they're still going to come out and buy tickets and support. So, if that means we have to put up with a little weirdness for a couple of minutes out of the 3 hour show, then so be it. It's all hands off experience, as you can say. But we're just trying to change that philosophy, and
Well,
we're trying to promote
from
the
what I
hell out of.
observed, from what I observe, it's very difficult to be a woman wrestler in a male dominant field, per se.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a male dominated business, period, from head to toe, inside and out. And it's sad because there's so many great minds of females that are involved in wrestling. Stephanie McMahon being one of them. I mean, she's a genius when it comes to doing what she's doing. That's why she's on more of the business side. She's the one that handles the sponsorships and things like that, and she's able to promote the heck out of the product. And when she's on TV, it's must see TV. People tune in to see what she's got to say. It's not by accident, and it's not by design. She's a McMahon. She's
Right.
learned the business whether she wanted to or not.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Pushed to the forefront. I mean, you saw Shane McMahon disappear for a long time. He didn't want no part of it, and he came back for a couple of years, and then he's kind of laying low now that Vince has stepped down.
Yep.
But right now it's Triple H and Stephanie running the show, and you've seen so many changes already. Talent coming back that were mistreated in the past,
Yep.
and they have come back. They trust the system now, and part of that system is Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, for sure. She's definitely one of the people that these women wrestlers look up to for sure. I've heard that name quite a few times, especially this past Saturday.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not by accident. She knows what she's doing. She's if you want to say she learned from the master, she did. She's from the wrestling family, and she grew up with other wrestling family. She didn't just grow up with the McMahons. She grew up with the Harts. She grew up with the Samoans. She grew up with the Poffos. I mean, you can go up and down the list of families that have been in wrestling for parts of 60 years, and she's been in the middle of all of that. So she's learned the good, the bad, and the ugly of professional wrestling, and she's been in that era where she tried to be a wrestler, and it wasn't a bad time for female wrestling.
Right.
It wasn't about wrestling back then. It was all gimmicky, not very flattering type matches, and um, you know, she didn't like that, but she was an employee at the time, so she did what she was told. Now it's her time to take the reins and say, hey, you know what? We have to show a little bit more love for the Jazzes and the Molly Hollies
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
Victorias, the ones that had to work during that era of really bad women's wrestling. And we'll see where it goes now, but that's kind of where my mindset is. We have tons of great talent in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New England area, and it only gets showcased up here, and it doesn't really get showcased much in the Midwest or the South or the West Coast. And I'm like, well, it works both ways. Some people from the West Coast, Thunder Rosa being a perfect example, is a young girl from Oakland that
Yeah.
really had no exposure outside of the Bay, and we practically begged her to come over here. We were like, hey, come on, come over here. We love your content on YouTube. Like, I think you'd be a huge hit out here. It took like 6 months of convincing her to get on an airplane and come over here. And obviously, the old term, the rest is history. And she's always given us props, whatever the interview she's always done about, us kind of giving her the kick in the ass to come over here, and it propelled her career. And, the same thing with Nyla Rose and Camille Brickhouse and Deanna Perrazzo. We worked with them when, they were nobody. And, I hate to say that, but, they'd be the first one to say they were nobody,
Right.
and now they're all household names, and they always give us props, for believing in them before they became who they are now. Jordan Grace, Tasha Steeles. I mean, there's so many of them that, we worked with them when they were indie darlings just in the New York, New Jersey area, and they weren't known past that. Now they're all on TV kicking ass, and it's like watching my little kids grow up.
Yeah, for sure. So you've announced some future, possibly, well, you announced some goddesses, possibly, how do I say nicely, future champions. And I use quotations because right now we have Adina Steele as our goddesses champion.
Well, we have aspiring champions, hopeful entrants, 16 to be exact, in the tournament, all competing for the same goal, to be the number one contender, and to look the whoever the goddesses champion is at the end of that night, look them in the face and say, you're next.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. I would like to talk about some of the goddesses that we will see in March at the Godesses of War show.
Sure.
Adina Steele.
Yep, she's our champ. She stepped up when Amanda Fuentes had a no show again as her opponent, and she put the open challenge, or as I say, she put her foot in her mouth, and whether it was the Becca Wiley interference / distraction, or just Amanda being very young and inexperienced and allowed herself to be distracted to the veteran. Either way, Adina Steele left that show causing damage as the Goddesses champion.
Speaking of Becca Wiley, I hear that she's going up to be the number one contender as well. She's going to be in that match as well.
She is. She was actually the third entrant announced in the tournament. She's very excited. But it's always very exciting until you step in the ring and then you see an opponent in each corner. Then it becomes very nerve-wracking.
Correct. I mean, I'm on the outside of the ring, and that gives me anxiety, so I totally get that.
Absolutely. I mean, for people who don't understand the format that we're going with, if this was your next question, I'm sorry for
Nope. Go ahead.
jumping on. But there's 16 women. There's four, count them, four fatal four-way matches.
Wow.
Okay, and those four matches will have one winner in each bracket. That'll give us four winners remaining. So it'll go from the round of 16 down to the round of 4, and then that match will be a single elimination 4-pack.
Okay.
So basically, 2 will start. They will wrestle. 2 minutes go by. The third one comes in. They do what they do. 2 more minutes go by. The fourth one comes in to the point where you could have 4 again in the ring at once. And in this case, it's not the first person to get pinned and the match is over. Person gets pinned, they're out. The rest of the 3 of them go until you get down to the last one.
Okay. I like that. That's going to be very intense.
Gives everybody an equal chance because, yes, in a fatal 4-way, you don't have to get pinned to lose the match.
Right.
So you have to have your head on a swivel. But to expect you to have to do it twice in one night is a little nuts. So I decided that a single elimination basically means don't get pinned. So if you don't get pinned, you're going to win. You don't need to have your head on a swivel per se, but you don't want your shoulders to the mat at any point. So obviously if someone else gets pinned, you're still gold.
Who else is going to be in one of those 4-way matches? So we have Adina, we have Becca Wiley. Who else do we have?
Well, Adina Steele's not going to be in the tournament. She was originally announced in the tournament, but because she won the title, it doesn't make sense for her to be the number one contender to herself.
Right.
So she actually has a championship match that night, which I am going to bless the Goddesses fans here on Goddesses Uncensored with her opponent, just not right this second, but before we close up the show, you will know who the TV talent that will be taking on Adina Steele for the Goddesses Championship, and who will be, and then of course, when we find out later that night who would be the number one contender to that championship. I can also tell you that night we have a huge surprise. We will have a honorary goddess that will be coming down to the ring, and she will be presenting Adina Steele before the match with the brand new Goddesses of War Championship title belt.
Wow. Speechless.
It's going to be great. So your first entrant is the current reigning and defending Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Champion. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I just named another company's name and champion because we're not going to make believe it's 1985 and we're the only company that exists on the planet Earth. We're here to promote women's wrestling, which means wherever they wrestle, that counts as promoting them on other shows, which worked hand in hand because, people have this philosophy that people in wrestling can't work together. But JC Storm was the number one entrant in the tournament. She's a young up-and-comer from New York. I worked with her at Big Event. She joined us at the convention. She is a very young, she's got a great look, great gimmick, tough as nails, despite, not being that tall.
She's a bad bitch, that's for sure.
She made an appearance on AEW Dark, which was great for her career. And, going forward now, all of a sudden, all these vendors and promoters out there are booking her like crazy, and that's what we want Goddesses to do. They're basically like AEW Dark does for some of these indie talents in the local area. We want to be able to take that talent and to have the same kind of effect with them.
Right.
The number 2 entrant, somebody I'm very, very familiar with from wrestling in the New York scene. She was actually one of the women that kind of caused a whole bunch of controversy in a mixed gender match where a New York City athletic commissioner stopped the match because she was wrestling a guy and thought that it wasn't allowed. He was misinformed, of course, and that set off, some fireworks within the wrestling community. And but I'm talking about a multiple time champion in multiple companies, Bonesaw Jesse Brooks. You want to talk about one tough woman? Whew. People got it. Yeah, I feel bad whoever's got her bracket. Yeah. So we mentioned Becca Wiley, the young up and coming Titan original student. She will be the 3rd entrant, and then another young lady from the New York market that I've worked close with at times, and she's also a former Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Champion, and somebody that actually worked with me and for me at WrestleCon in New Orleans a bunch of years back when I was looking for extra table help. So she's a good person, and that's Ariella Nix.
Okay.
And so the next person, I think you're very familiar with. She's had some matches at Titan. She's had some matches at Goddesses. She actually battled for the women's championship, and that's Gabby Gilbert.
Yes, I do. Wasn't she a Funhouse champion, or was I confused?
It's possible. I'm not too familiar with the Funhouse. Who had the title? The only ones I do remember prior to Amanda Fuentes was Debbie Kane and Angel Orsini.
Right.
Gabby might have been in the middle. I'm not really sure, and if she was, I apologize. And you can take it out.
I don't remember myself, honestly.
Another young lady that we're very familiar with when it comes to Titan and Goddesses, Valentina Vasquez.
Yes, we like her a lot.
And so now we're at a spot where this was Adina Steele's spot. And obviously because she won the Goddesses of War Championship and an improv call out by Amanda. So Adina obviously vacates her spot. And this young lady, who just recently made her AEW Dark debut as well, somebody that shares the same love of pizza as I do. She likes Rob Williams, which I don't get.
I knew as soon as you said pizza, I knew exactly who you were talking about.
I don't get that whole obsession with Rob Williams, but whatever. Each his own. But yeah, obviously we're talking about Vicious Vicky, a former Goddesses champion. So yeah, she'll be in the tournament looking to regain the Goddesses glory.
You never know what's going to happen.
You absolutely do not. Another young lady who appeared in a match and defeated Becca Wiley a couple of months back. The Pride of Philadelphia, Jenny Rose, former ROH.
Okay.
So she'll be in the tournament. And then this young lady, not many people know about her, and that's the whole point, because we want to promote. We want to promote.
Absolutely.
Up and coming. That's Marie Valdomina. She'll be taking part in this tournament, and I fully expect her to make a name of herself. From what I've seen of her, she don't fool around in that ring.
You never know what can happen. These girls seem amazing. I personally have not met them, but you never know what's going to happen, Adina. You never know. You never know who's
right. Another one. This young lady's she's a little odd, but the goddesses got to learn about her real quick when she made an appearance during the COVID days when we were wrestling outdoors. And that's Mother Endless.
Yes, I do love me some Mother Endless.
Yes, she's got a great gimmick, scary as hell. But yeah, so people got to be ready for that. You know how they would say you got to be ready for Asuka. You gotta have to be ready for Mother Endless.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Next spot is the former champ Amanda Fuentes. Um, she was the next entrant. As soon as she lost that title, she made it very clear and that she wanted that championship back. And I told her the only way that was going to happen was she was going to have to get into that tournament, and she's going to have to beat 15 other women for that right. Because if not, it's going to go to somebody else. Right now she's the current defending Funhouse Women's Champion, and if she wants to add to that gold, then she's gonna have to prove it. Let's put it that way. She made a big mistake by leaving herself vulnerable and being distracted by Becca, and she does have a match coming up in January against Becca. So I kind of fear for Becca's life on that one. But if anybody's able to pull the wool over Amanda, it basically would be Becca doing it again. So it'll be interesting to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Our next entrant into the Goddesses tournament, a Midwest talent from Chicago. Not many people know, but they're going to know because I know enough about her that she can kick some ass, and that's Mr. Kate.
Okay. I did some research on her. I looked at some videos on YouTube.
She's good. She's got a good look. She got
Yes.
some power, that's for sure. Speaking about power, I don't know if anybody, maybe one person in this tournament can match her pound for pound when it comes to strength. Um, and she's one of my favorites. Somebody again that I booked early when not many people knew who she was. Now, she's making her way around the convention scenes. She's had a couple of appearances in AEW Dark, and people know her deal now. People know they cannot mess with her. She's the pride of Albany, Christina Marie.
Yes, I actually was able to talk to Christina this past weekend about the Goddesses and what she expects from there. So I'm happy to see her again there as well.
Same. Uh, and the one I said that probably could match her, pound for pound for power. Maybe not the speed and agility, but definitely the strength. She's one prehistoric bitch, as she likes to say
Yeah.
sometimes. And that is, and then she's got, one of the main reasons, obviously we want her in a tournament because of her ability, but we also wanted her to introduce her drop kick depression program and company and the concept to the Goddesses locker room.
Yes.
So during the fan fest, she'll be there representing not only herself but Dropkick Depression, and basically educating the fans and the talent and people who are working for the company that they have somewhere to go in any case they need it. It's never going to
Absolutely.
be you're never alone. Let's just put it that way. And of course,
Absolutely.
we're talking about Tara Calloway.
Wow.
So we have one more announced guest, which was just recently announced. She just recently lost the Funhouse Women's Championship to Amanda Fuentes, and that is Angel Orsini, a ECW original badass.
She is
Somebody who should not
badass,
take
that's for
lightly.
sure.
And yeah, right now she's the 15th entrant. The 16th entrant has signed her deal, but because of agreement that we had with her, we have to wait until a certain date in January to make that announcement. Unless
Understandable.
she comes out and makes that announcement by herself. So it's not in our control right now, but I will say this young lady is making her goddesses return. So she's been there, she's done that. and she told me she's coming for it all. That's all I can say.
Oh boy. I wonder who that could be because there's so many good ones from the goddesses
It
that
could be. It could be Danny Moe. It could be Ray Lynn. It could be Holodead. It could be Zoe Sky. You never know.
you really don't. I remember watching all those girls in the drive-in shows.
Sure. I
Crazy.
mean, you remember the steel cage match, Christina Marie and Holodead? That was a
Yep.
freaking classic. A classic.
The casket match.
So you never know. It could be any of those young ladies. It could be somebody I didn't name. I mean, I'm not going to just throw some names out there for people to go, oh, man, I know who it is. No, no, no. It ain't that easy.
So I heard we have
There's,
some big news that you wanted to share with Goddesses Uncensored first.
Um, we do. But before we get to that, I just want to give a little shout out to the young ladies that will also be taking part in the Goddesses show that
Yes.
won't be wrestling, but because of them, they're going to make it possible for us to have this show. And obviously, you being one of them as one of our photographers.
Thank
So we
you.
want to give you a shout out, and Mama Kim as well. Want to give her a shout out, another one of our photographers. But we have our ring announcer, Rosaria Elsa, who will be doing all ring announcing for the whole night. We have broadcasters is I didn't write her last name, but Candace, and sorry I forgot to write her last name on the sheet. But she will be definitely. I want to say her last name is Owen, but she'll definitely be getting her props before the show starts. And then right now we only have one female referee booked. We're still trying to get that second one. We get a little time, but I don't rest. But that's Crystal Marrero. She'll be one of our female referees from New York. So we're looking forward to that. And then our backstage correspondent, Samira Corey, is people are very familiar with her from the Titan segments that she does. And that was somebody that I enjoyed her work online, and I brought her in. And then Billy came to me and he's like, who do you think we should use, like, for backstage? And, I gotta get like the beard and push it all messy. So yeah, like, who can we use? And I'm like, dude, use Samira. I'm like, come on. I'm like, she's already gonna be on Goddesses. Like, it goes hand in hand. And
Absolutely.
boom, and it's been money ever since. So we're good. And then we got some podcast media coverage. Marie Shadows will be covering Goddesses, as well as Kimmy Sokol.
Nice. I see a lot of their work on Facebook as well. They're really good.
Yep, Kimmy's very very proud of herself. She was on a media call with AEW for I think it was yesterday, and she actually got called upon to ask a question. And if I read it correctly, she was asking Tony if they plan to use Maria Kanellis as more of I think a backstage correspondent person. And he said that he was actually looking for something like that for the use of Maria.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, see, not everybody gets called on those things. It happens every once in a while, but she's a very happy camper right now. Let's just put it that way.
That's awesome. That's good for her. That's really awesome.
So now you want the goods now, right?
I want the tea. I need some of the tea, please.
Yeah, you want it. I know. Everybody wants to hear it. I'm sure Dina wants to know too. I don't know if she's gonna like what she's about to hear. But yeah, I mean, exclusive, right here on the takeover of Goddesses Uncensored,
Drum roll,
formerly
please.
known as Titan Uncensored. Dina Steele will be defending the Goddesses of War Championship and the brand new title belt, I might add, against former AEW Women's World Champion, the Native Beast, Nyla Rose.
Wow. I have goosebumps. That's amazing. That is amazing.
I want to apologize to Adina in advance. I'm not responsible for anything that happens in the ring. but I know you'll do us proud, and let the best lady win, and then you'll have the opportunity, whether it's you or Nyla, to stare that number one contender in the face at the end of the night and end off that show in a beautiful way, because we're going to start that show in a beautiful way, and that's going to be the 2 hour fan fest that's going to be before the show,
Yep.
where the fans get to meet and greet not only the talent, which is going to be the 18 ladies in the building, 18 female talents in the building, but the referees and the broadcasters and anybody else that has merch that is representing this brand. They have a chance to meet and greet, sell a little gimmick to the customers, and or just get their name out there in general, whether they're handing out bracelets, or as we used to do back in the day when I had the podcast, we literally had our names on pens and drink koozies, and we
Yeah.
even had bags of cookies that on the ribbon it had our website address on it.
That's awesome. That's a good idea.
Hey, you gotta get your name out there, any way you can, and and when you're starting up, you're looking to do it in ways that you're not breaking the bank.
True. Very true. Well, I appreciate you coming to talk to us today and giving us the tea and some more insight of all of the goddesses. As we get closer to the Goddesses show, we definitely will be talking more about what to expect and all of the where we could get tickets, the fan fest, everything like that. We'll definitely talk more about that when it gets closer. Thank you for letting me interview you today, Mr. Nasta, and I'm very, very excited about what's the plans for Goddesses of War.
As are we, and I'm excited for 18 other people. Yes, it's nice to be excited for myself, but I'm excited for 18 other people and the whole cast and crew that is going to make this happen. This is going to be a very theatrical event. This is going to be an event where you're going to sit there and go, "Holy crap! Am I at a wrestling show or am I at a Broadway play?" Like this is going to be taken out of my brain and put out in live color for everybody to see. And people are going to understand the vision that I have going forward. We're going to set a precedent that people are going to have a very hard time living up to. And, but where the women can say, you know what? Oh, I got a call from them. Definitely working there because they kicked ass last time. And also, I want to say real quick is that because we're pretty much the only company doing this in the Northeast, it would only be fair to talent share, as I call it. And we'll be working with Mission Pro Wrestling in Texas, the company owned by Thunder Rosa, and we'll be doing talent share where we'll be sending people down to them to present on their show. They'll be sending us talent up here to present on them.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
Time to give back, time to give back. These ladies have made me a lot of money at conventions. It's time to give back.
I'm speechless. Like that's just so amazing and what you're doing with the brand and getting everyone's names out there. Because a lot of times I feel personally, a lot of promoters are like, well, let's get butts in seats, but you have to appreciate the talent too. The talent is what brings those people that put the butts in the seats. And
Right.
I feel like that they do a really hard job training and putting their brand out there to help our brand and everything like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to sit back and cast opinions about, like, oh, that show sucked, or oh, it only attracted 75 people. And look, I can sit here and tell you that I've produced and booked matches where on paper you're like, holy crap, like this is amazing, and in the ring it was absolutely money. I mean, the Twisted Sisters, Thunder Rosa and Holodead, taking on the Sea Stars. I mean, unbelievable match. Okay, it happened in front of like 65 people.
Right.
And that's sad. Okay, and then we had another show that the Twisted Sisters again took on. They called themselves, I think it was Team Fat, PHAT, and that was Jordan Grace and Lou Fisto
Right.
in front of like less than 80 people. And it's like, what is going on here? But if I'm the only one giving 110% and everybody else is just kind of riding coattails, it's not going to work.
Right.
You just can't sit here and rely on a logo, and you can't sit here and rely on a name or a reputation to sell tickets. Your ass needs to get out there, market the area that you're running this show in. You need to have some kind of plan for community outreach. You need to hit, and that's exactly what we're doing. I'm all next week. I'm gonna be in Brick, New Jersey, hitting up boys and girls clubs, YMCA, JCCs. I don't care if it's a freaking Chuck E. Cheese. I will be there where young women and men, young men and women and kids, and I'm going to go to the owners and to the managers, and I'm going to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're giving the community. Let's give back. Hang this poster. Let's talk business here. How many people you think you can get to come to these shows? You know, let the community be a part of it as well. So if they show up to a show that has 400 people, they know they had a part in that. They can pat themselves on the back. And they
Right.
know every time we walk in that building with a poster, they're going to say, hell yeah.
Right.
Not, oh, here's some scotch tape, go hang it near the bathroom. Not, nobody needs that crap.
Right.
So, just think about it. You get 20 people out of any of those buildings I just mentioned. And you get 20 people. You're talking 400 people just from that. Plus, you have your Titan and Goddesses fans that are going to show up anyway. So,
Yeah.
you're talking, anywhere from 400 to 500 people that are going to be coming to this show for the fan fest. And then they're going to go outside. And I thought this out because it is February 25th. It's going to be a little brisk, down in Brick, New Jersey. It's going to be a little chilly. Most people are going to have their cars, but we're also working to have food trucks to
Right.
come to the event. So you can go outside after the fan fest is over, get something hot to eat. You go sit in your car, you eat your food. By the time you're done, you clean up. The doors will be reopening. You go in for the pre-show. Boom, here we go. Food trucks are happy. We're happy. Fans are happy. The talent's happy. And then at intermission, we're going to give our locker room a break. We're not going to throw them out. So, hey, get your asses back out there and sign some autographs for 15 minutes while you're sweating all over your pictures. No, go in the back, relax. You got 15 minutes, chill out, drink some water, eat a protein bar, whatever it is. Eat the food that we're going to supply you from the food trucks. Relax. The fans are going to be treated to interactive trivia for those 15 minutes with trivia questions provided via video by the talent. And then the
That's
fans who get
awesome.
the answers right, they're gonna get prizes, whether it's a T-shirt, an autographed photo, whatever it is. And that's what we're gonna do to give the locker room a rest, but keep the fans occupied in a positive way where they don't lose interest and get bored for 15 minutes.
Right.
And then boom, we're right back to action. So it's going to be something it really hasn't been done before. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. Something like that doesn't really happen. It's the same routine. Every company does the same shit. And I ain't, excuse my French, but they do the
No,
same
you're allowed to.
shit over and over and over again. And it's just like repetitive. And it gets to the point where you've been to one indie show, you've been to them all because they're all the same. You see the same people doing the same things, run the same format the same way. You get in the same time, you out the same time. And you hear the same boring ass announcements. We don't want that. We want everybody to have a good time at a show. This is a wrestling show, and that's what we want, and that's what we're striving for. And like I said, we're going to set the precedence and the bar really high, and I'm good with that because I got to live up to it and raise that bar each time. Whatever it is, it's good. It's good for business. It's good for the business of wrestling. It's good for the female talent. It's going to promote them. People are going to see this streaming. They're going to watch this and go, "Holy crap! Like this is like watching a freaking movie." And it's about wrestling. And they're going to start googling this talent, googling that talent, looking on YouTube for this talent. Like you said, you looked up Maria Valdemina. That's what people are going to do. That's what we want them to do. And it's not just going to be fans. It's going to be promoters and vendors looking them up too to say, hey, what's this girl got? I want to see what she's got. Well, maybe we should book her. And that's what we want. And that's why we're going to announce any of them that come with another company's championship because we're open door policy. You want to send your champion to us? Boom, bring them over. We're gonna announce it to the ring. Let them wear that belt. They can showcase it, take pictures with it, whatever they want. Because again, we're not gonna make believe we're the only wrestling company on the planet Earth. So this is the time. This is officially. I got about what's today, the 8th. So I got 23 more days of this year. When New Year's hits, I'm gonna be a psycho. I'm telling you, I already warned Billy and Charlie. I'm gonna be an absolute nut job when it comes to promoting this show and being around that neighborhood. I don't care if I gotta drive through Brick 15 times over a period of 30 days and check every store to make sure those posters are there. And if they're faded, I'll replace them. If they're ripped, I'll replace them. But I definitely will say though, because the wrestling business is trashy at times and corny, that if people are ripping down posters and I find out who they are, or we catch them on video from the place where we hang them, they most likely have security cameras. If
Right.
we find out who you are, trust me, it's going to be the last ripping of anything you ever do.
And I have your back on that
I'm sorry
110%.
to end it on that, but I'm
No,
not going to
no,
rip
I
some
completely
corny,
agree with
jealous
that.
moron that ripped out a poster.
I completely agree with that, and I have your back with that 110%.
And again, yes, it's me doing all this, but this can't be done, without Billy, without Charlie, without Anthony, and the support of people from Titan, even SP Anderson. As much as I don't want to mention that knucklehead's name, Jesus, they're gonna have to go wash my mouthwash. But without the support, of people like that, Monster Mac, Andrew Magic Morgan, you know, things like this can't happen. They know it's a vision and they believe in it. And I'm not in the business of letting anybody down. The
Perfect.
end.
The end. Well, thank you very much for talking with us today. And we will have to get you back on here very, very soon.
Yes, absolutely. And visit Titan Dash Wrestling Champion. Sorry, Titan Dash Championship Wrestling.com. You can get your tickets now. They've already been posted. If you have any questions in regards to tickets or the venue or anything like that, you can reach out to the Titan Championship Wrestling or the Goddesses of War Wrestling Facebook pages. And we're more than happy to take and field any questions you have or concerns. And if you're a female wrestler out there watching and listening to this, um, you can email me at Nasta, that's Nasta .goddesses@gmail.com. Send me your credentials and your videos, and we'll more than likely get you on a future show. So it's all about you. It's not about me. It's all about you.
We have the Goddesses of War Instagram too, correct?
We do. We have Instagram, which is tcw.goddesses. We also have Twitter, which is TCW_goddesses, because they don't let you use a period because they're fancy. And the Facebook page is facebook.com/TCW.goddesses. Yeah, we have it all. And you can't miss me on social media. I have like 14,000 pages. Or you can reach out to this young lady right here. She'll find you a nice soft spot to wait for me, and we'll get her done, as they say down south in Texas, where we're going to be working with Mission Pro. We're going to get her done.
Get her done. Thank you, Mr. Nasta, and have a good night. Thanks for watching.